Good morning, class. Welcome to the summer term of Drugs, Brain, and Behavior 2020. Probably one of the craziest summers we'll ever experience. Let's hope at least in terms of a bad sort of crazy. Clearly this class will be online and it will be taught in an asynchronous online format. What that means is that by structure, by design, we will not have to be in the class at the same time. This is on purpose to maximize flexibility. However, there is a relatively tight schedule that you can find in the syllabus shown here, with very regular and consistent due dates. One thing that you should know is for the quizzes, I 100% quiz you on information from my PowerPoint lectures that are all voiced over. And there also, it's worth noting that the oral component I try to do is sort of like an add-on. Even if I don't have anything extra to add, I do try to read what's on the PowerPoint slide for accessibility. Not everybody can read as well. Therefore, I do make a point to read out every slide. These are things that you can use yourself for how you prepare and study. And maybe there are certain slides that you skip the audio on. In addition, we have, and these are always, again, tested on the information from the PowerPoints. The book is excellent. The assigned textbook, I think, is a good good undergrad level textbook. And, it is a supplement. It is there to help guide you through information that you might not understand so well from my PowerPoint presentation. In addition, I listed a link to the grad school version of this, Goodman-Gilman. This is what you would use in medical school or a PhD pharmacology program or pharmacy school. It's an excellent resource that I highly recommend that you check out too. Just know that, that the information is going to be at a slightly higher level. The other thing that I wanted to point out is that, we will have a final exam. For this, what we do is I have a complete essay-based final exam. What I want you to do here is to take the essay questions, which I've already given you, and prepare excellent answers. I mean, as good, if not better, than what you would do in your best case blue book scenario in the classroom. That's what I'm looking for. And that needs to be turned in at the end of the year in lieu of a regular final. So, I mean, the bright side is, you get to take this home and work on these essay questions and develop the best answers possible. I don't really see much of a downside other than it is an essay question-based exam, and that will require some work. You can't just bubble answers on a multiple choice Scantron, and that's okay. Oh, and another thing about the quizzes, I realize that there are going to be certain quizzes that the timing is going to be a little tight on. That is necessary because all of the quizzes by default are open note. If I gave you unlimited time, everybody would do incredibly well. So, I mean, one way of thinking about this is really, how do you set yourself up to be very efficient in taking the test or taking the quiz? Is the information that you have appropriate? And do you know how to access it quickly? And I also believe that both here and for the final, this is more real world scenario. There are very few experiences in life after undergrad where you're going to have to sit down and take a multiple choice test. But you are going to have to be able to find information, credible information, very quickly to stay competitive. And, I think that the way that these quizzes and finals are set up here is really much more real world in how you will have to access information in reality. In addition, it's very important to vet information from the experts. So what I did here is, what I typically do is assign some research articles that are somewhat controversial in nature and require the students to have a interaction through an app called Flipgrid. Because this is a summer class, I think that that is a bit excessive. So what I'm going to do instead is require that you turn in a journal reflecting on these experts' opinions, but I'm leaving open the Flipgrid rooms so you can chat through them. In addition, I'm going to create some Zoom sessions for us to attend together where I will be in the room as well. These and the Zoom room discussion sessions are not required. Whether or not you participate in them will not impact your research article journal at all. The reason for this is, again, this is an asynchronous online class, and I mean to maximize flexibility, particularly during a pandemic and God knows what else is going to be going on over the next few months. I, think that it's very important that we all can basically keep our schedules maximally flexible. Therefore, requiring you to be in a room with me for an hour a week, I think is, unreasonable and unnecessary. However, that is there for you if you want to sit down with me or your peers with me outside of the room, not there, and have these discussions. For example, like, is cannabis, a medicine, or is cannabis a gateway drug, that is going to cause irreparable harm to society, especially amongst adolescent users? This is something that I could argue either way. And maybe if I'm in the room, you would be less likely to argue it as openly, which you shouldn't be, by the way. I'm very, open-minded in this way. But, this is, something that, this is just how I set it up. You know, you can take part in these Flipgrid discussions or not, up to you. And that will be the class for the summer. So really, you just have to get in the rhythm, get in the groove of making it through the PowerPoints. And this is not, I have heard that there are online classes where you can just sort of like wait till the end and then get things done. This is not that sort of class. So, on day one, you need to start doing your work. And there are going to be 3 components to the class, like a pharmacology unit, a drugs of abuse unit, and a psychiatric medicine unit. And I think that the first unit on general concepts of pharmacodynamics and pharmacokinetics will seem the most challenging for you, because this material will probably be the most new to you. So I definitely do not think that you should sleepwalk into the semester. I mean, really, it's really quite the opposite, I would say. I mean, if you can just knock the pharmacokinetic and pharmacodynamic lectures or components out in the first couple weeks of the class, I think it'll feel a little downhill from there. And that's a very great thing to feel. And then I just wanted to give you one little movie reference here. It's from what my little screen is from. It's a movie that I watched when I was an undergraduate student called The Seventh Seal by Ingmar Bergman. And, to this day, I think I would argue that it's one of the best movies ever made. I think it's much better than Citizen Kane. And in part, this is because of the symbolism and really what it makes you think about. So, the movie, it's an old movie, black and white in Swedish. So, you have to drink some coffee and be alert and, be ready to read some subtitles. But the Seventh Seal is really about existential questions. There's a knight that comes back from a crusade, and he is off. He's coming back in the middle of a plague, and everybody's dying around him. He's very confused, and he finds himself contemplating the big questions. Is there a God? What is the purpose of it all? And, as a pure academic movie, Bergman actually came from a very religious background, but he didn't get preachy about it. He kept these questions the answers open-ended. So if you wanted to do some deep thinking one night and spark some, I remember staying up late into the night, talking about the meaning of this movie with my undergraduate peers. And I just, I had a very fond memory of that day. I feel like I learned more, uh, you know, uh, from those discussions than I did from those classes. And that is a critical part of college, of course, is that the deep thinking, these sorts of things. So, and I can't really think of any better time to watch a movie about like death from a plague than during a global pandemic. So with that, I will sign off, and I hope that you enjoy the semester. Oh yes, I also wanted to say that please use the virtual office. There are over 40 students enrolled in this class. If everybody's emailing me all the time, I won't be able to respond effectively or efficiently. I do monitor the virtual office frequently. It sometimes it takes a little time at the start of the semester for it to actually start automatically sending me all the emails. But every time there's a post in there, I get it. And I try to respond to the virtual office as quickly as possible, certainly within 24 hours. And I think it's the best way of maintaining communication, because anything that you're having issues with, most likely one of your peers is having issues with too. So if you post it in the virtual office, I can reply to everybody at the same place at the same time, and everybody will see your question. And to me, it's just the most efficient way to run the question and answer component of the class. Well, I hope you enjoy. This is a fun subject matter to me. It's something I'm very passionate about. I have lots of opinions on the matter, on the subject. Never hesitate to ask me.